Okay, y'all, for those of y'all that don't really know much about me, I haven't dropped shit in this channel for a while, but I really don't like to get too political. I'm not really into the political sphere, but something I do find interesting is the fact that it says Ukraine is ready to negotiate peace with Russia as soon as possible. Now, in the whole situation happening in the war over there, I have tried to keep myself as far away from it as possible. Not because I just want to be ignorant, but because when it comes to things happening overseas, most people tend to not really know what's happening and they always want to pick a side. I just wanted to stay as far away from the situation as possible. I am the one, the way your son. Listen. Double time on my business. This nigga's.
Some breaking news. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country is ready to come to the negotiating table to end the war with Russia as soon as possible. He also called last week's Oval Office blow-up regrettable. Zelensky's comments come, of course, after the Trump administration paused military aid to Ukraine. Here's Vice President J.D. Vance.
So that's what happened.
Oh, really? That sucks.
So I don't know what happened when he met Donald Trump, but I guess something happened within that meeting. There was a blow up that happened, and the aid that Ukraine was depending on, which we do know that Ukraine was only able to last this long because they had help from NATO, which, you know, without American aid, they really couldn't do much.
Aid. What the president has said very clearly about our Ukraine policy is that he wants the Ukrainians to come to the negotiating table. We want the Ukrainians to have a sovereign and an independent country. We think the Ukrainian troops have fought very bravely, but we're at a point here where neither Europe nor the United States nor the Ukrainians can continue this war indefinitely.
NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is live in Washington, and also with us, Evelyn Farkas, former senior advisor to the Supreme Allied Commander of Europe.
Okay, one thing I will say, though, is that they're speaking like as if like we haven't historically had wars that's lasted way longer than this. It's, you know, that's not the case. You've only really heard a lot of talk about this for the last, I would say, maybe 3-4 years. So usually wars tend to last a bit longer, and for them to say this like as if it's like, well, it's going on for too long, so now we just need to settle this shit. It's a bit goofy.
Stupid.
But at the same time, the war isn't good. The quicker you can sell it, the better for everybody, so I'm down with that.
Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Russia, Ukraine, and Eurasia, and Executive Director of the McCain Institute. Good to have you both here. Gabe, what more can you tell us about this pause in aid and any more about where the U.S. relationship with Ukraine stands right now?
Oh, hi there, Chris. Well, that relationship is still not good. And yes, this pause in military aid, a seismic shift in policy towards a U.S. ally, billions of dollars in.
I was about to say, is that coming from me or is that coming from their side? Yo,
aid now on hold. Now,
y'all is on the news and you got mad sirens in the background. What the shit?
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that?
Yes, this pause in military aid, a seismic shift in policy towards a U.S. ally, billions of dollars in aid now on hold. Now, as you mentioned, President Zelensky today signaled that desire to come back to the negotiating table. He wrote online that he was grateful for the U.S. providing javelins. He also talked about how the meeting Friday did not go the way it was supposed to, and it's regrettable that it happened this way. But Chris, he did use the word regret in an interview on Friday after the meeting. What he still has not done, and the White House continues to point this out, is that he has not flat out apologized for what happened on Friday. Let's listen to more of what Vice President Vance said on the Hill just a short time ago.
Okay, so the way the situation is unfolding, it sounds like the Ukrainian ambassador was brought to American soil to have this conversation with President Trump. The conversation didn't go in the way that the American side of it wanted it to go, and now they're expecting an apology from this man, which I don't know what was said. Maybe the apology is something that's needed, but I do find it a bit petty that you guys would withhold like aid that these people need to continue defending themselves simply because of...
And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk. up, motherfucker!
You guys don't agree? I feel like that's a bit petty. If you guys were already sending aid like that, to stop aid because you don't see eye to eye with somebody on a certain subject is a bit weird. So I would hope that whatever was said between the officials was something at least egregious enough to make sense, you know?
Look, I think the most important thing, a lot of people have made this about public statements. President Zelensky needs to say that he's committed to the peace, or President Zelensky needs to apologize to the president. The public stuff doesn't matter nearly as much as what are the Ukrainians doing to meaningfully engage on what a peaceful settlement would look like. We need the Ukrainians privately to come to us and say, this is what we need, this is what we want, this is how we're going to participate in the process to end this conflict. That is the most important thing, and that lack of private engagement is what is most concerning to us.
So the White House again saying they have not seen that private outreach just yet. It could happen. It just hasn't happened as far as we know thus far. And Chris, it is expected to be a major topic in the president's address to the joint.
Okay, this will probably be my last point on this because I just want to touch on what was said there. I find it a bit weird because clearly the Ukrainian people just want to be left alone to their own sovereign right. They've essentially had that right for a good chunk of time now, and it seems like Russia's trying to backpedal into like, well, originally you guys were a part of our border, and now we want you guys to come back there. Like, Ukraine has essentially said what they wanted for a long time. They don't want things to go back to how it was before. They want to be their own sovereign nation. They don't want to be connected to Russia. In that state, like for them to say that like, well, we're waiting for the Ukrainians to come to us privately to tell us exactly what they're willing to give up so that we can end this war. It's like, what do you guys want? You guys want them to give up an aspect of the border? Do you guys want you guys to like redraw the line of where it is that Ukraine starts and Russia? You know what I mean? Like, what do you guys want? Because clearly they've said what they want. They want the country that they had before all of this shit started, before Russia came back through these borders, that's what they want, right? They're not asking for anything more. They want that. It's one thing for you to be asking for something crazy, and it's another thing for you to be asking for something that you actually had for a good chunk of time, right? So I find that just very weird. Right now, I can't really agree with either side. It feels like the U.S. is being fairly petty, and it feels like Ukraine they're not aware of how to deal with these bigger powers out there. I don't know, this whole scenario here, for me personally, I just wanted the war to be over because war sucks, like in general. And we live in a modern era where like there's no reason for us to fight wars over borders. Like borders have already been drawn up. So for us to still be having wars over that is ridiculous. For us to be having wars over anything is stupid. But borders specifically, which this is what this whole issue is about, it's dumb to me. But anyway, it's your boy Walt. Like, sub. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Do you guys think Zelensky said something really bad? I don't know what he said, so you guys let me know what was said. Maybe we'll do another video of what happened on Friday if you guys want, and comment below. But yeah, man, it's been your boy Walt. We'll catch you next time.
I hope you niggas enjoyed the video, but even if you didn't, don't forget to like and subscribe or I'ma shit on your carpet. It's your boy Walt. Catch you in the next video.